Welcome into Logan Lives in the Comments here with Fred Smoot and Santana Moss, two of my favorite guys. Doesn't that make you feel warm to know you're someone's favorite guy?
Yeah, it touched me.
Touched you?
Not really me, because this guy lies on me all the time. He looks up bad information on me all the time.
I mean, it's the best I can do, Fred. That's all I can say. It's the best I can do. I'm doing my best, and I can't tell if you're lying or I'm lying. Someone's lying. Okay.
Somebody.
All right, so we got questions.
Yes.
We got one of this is literally the hardest question we've answered on this show. So let's go. First question.
All right, fan number one says, "Hi, Logan.
Okay.
Can you break down Jack Del Rio's match scheme?"
Okay, so I am going to try my best to break down Jack Del Rio's match scheme. Not specific rules, but just match in general.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you got to understand cover three, right? So Fred, what's cover three? It's just
basically three deep coverage. We are the three deepest people.
Yes.
The two corners and the free safety.
yes. So this is a really good look at it, right? You've got your thirds players here. They take anything vertical. He's got anything in the middle of the field, and he's got here. The problem with cover three, especially versus a heavy play action team, is this is a lot of grass.
Yes,
that is a lot of grass.
Yeah.
And those linebackers have to defend a lot of grass. So the issue is, if we are to go 4 vertical routes here, look at the bind that the post safety's in. The post safety being Earl Thomas in this look, right? We can basically get a 2-on-1 on that player. Now, Earl Thomas was one of the best to ever do it.
at what he does.
He was elite at that. So he could do it, right? That's one of the reasons why the Seattle cover 3 worked well, because you had a ball player like him in there, right? But you don't always have that guy. So how do we mitigate not having a Hall of Fame safety back there? And one of the ways you do that is you create a match coverage. And so match coverage, if you think about it from a cover 3 standpoint, makes a lot more sense. So here, we're going to get verticals. We're in like a pseudo cover 3 coverage here, right? That's kind of what it looks like. But what they're going to do is Philly's going to run verticals. And in this vertical structure, the hook player, who are these guys, are going to what, Fred?
Carry.
They're going to carry. They're going to match the vertical. When they match the vertical, the outside player has to know he no longer has any help. This guy knows that if he's locked on, I have to lock on. And so, Tana, what does this look like to you? This looks like man-to-man coverage, right? It looks exactly the same as man-to-man coverage. The only reason I think this might even be match is because these two guys are standing right here in zone. That's the only reason I possibly think that. But match coverage, when you watch 90 plays, 10 of it, like all of them, one of them is going to look like match. All the rest are going to look like man.
And technically it is man to man. Because once I get past the linebackers, I'm not worried about nobody else but the guy.
So as an offensive player, match coverage plays like man. The only times where you really see it are in very specific situations. Playing like zone, I mean, right? So let's take a look at it.
And it has to be bent to his wheel before it looks that part.
Right, exactly right. So here we go. This is man right here. It looks like man, right? But it's actually match. Up here, I think they're locked, Fred. So I think this is actually going to play like true man.
It is locked.
So that's what they got. They locked up here, but they're playing the match down here at the bottom. So if this was true man-to-man coverage, they would actually pass this off, right? But they would not pass it off.
They wouldn't pass it off. The outside corner would have to run the hump.
Run the hump, right? So in match now, we can say it's kind of got pseudo-zone principles, right? So number 2 goes vertical. Kendall does a good job seeing it. He matches it. I'm the hook player. I know I have to match the crossing route here. So I'm going to go in. But remember, we saw those linebackers hanging around the middle? Watch them pass this off. So A.J. Brown's going to run across the field.
Cole Holcomb is ready.
Yes. He takes number 2, who is now the back, right? Number 2, you see that? And Cole takes A.J. across the field. And now our guy Curl becomes the hook player. You see that? So and even now, it's going to look like man. They're going to match that like man, and he's the hook player. You guys see that? So it is this kind of hybrid amalgamation of coverage, basically saying, depending on what number 2 does, if it goes vertical, if he goes across, whatever happens, we change our zone and man players. Does that make sense? It's kind of complicated. For you, Tana, you just run it versus man-to-man coverage, right? So it doesn't really matter, but it gives the defense some flexibility. Here you go. You're going to motion across the field here. Get over here, CD Lamb.
And that started off a 4x1. Nobody wants to talk. It started off a true 4x1.
Yes.
And then I got a match cover 3. They should have undressed the cover 3 right there.
Correct. And so now we're going to get the same match coverage. We're going to run a similar crossing route here up top. They're going to pass it off. You see them pass this off. Pass off, right? To the hook player down here. When this tight end goes vertical, right? The hook player's got to attach. And this is where you see some of the issues, right? You see some of that cover 3 influence. It's because our guy William Jackson III is
refused to play his technique.
Is playing true cover 3 here.
Yes.
And that's what happens, right? So that's what I think. It's gonna look like man. 99% of the time. But in those certain situations where the number 1 goes right now or number 2 goes vertical or whatever it is, you get some zone principles, and that is honestly the best I could do. I had to watch like 12 hours of film to get that worked out. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah.
I don't know, Tan, does that make sense?
No, I love that breakdown.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I learned something, and I played against those coverages for so many years. No, honestly, no one has ever broke it down that way because, like I said before, as a receiver, I'm not worrying about all the stuff underneath me. I'm worrying about the guy.
What's in front of me, right?
Once I see that single high safety and those corners travel with me, I know it's cover 3 because those guys are deep. So it's great to break all that down to see how everybody, trade off and
Perfect.
stuff like
I'm
that.
glad. I was worried if it wasn't going to make
good
sense.
Logan.
All right, what we got?
That's why you get paid a big buck. All right, second question. Hey, Logan, last year, Del Rio did a lot of stunts and twists with John and Montez.
Yeah.
Do you think Chase and Deron could do the same thing this year?
Absolutely. So let's talk about what a stunt is, right? So a stunt is basically like we're changing our rush angle. So this one, John's going to rush up, Montez is going to loop around, and you're going to get a nice pick. And so what's happening is you're basically changing the landmark for the pass protector.
Yep.
Right? The pass protector says I have to set on the inside half of a man. Right? You see that? Come here, Fred. Stand up for a second.
Yeah,
right?
gotcha.
So if I'm pass throwing and I'm the left tackle and I'm pass throwing Fred, I know I can't get past his midline. And I'm only looking right here at Fred, right at this beautiful pectoral muscle right here. The second he comes up, my eyes are going to stay here. And imagine if big old Montez Sweat comes and puts his helmet right in my ear. My line is off. Fred's around for a sack. So as a pass rusher, I'm manipulating the tackle and the pass protector in a way that's advantageous to me, right? Here's Montez, bow, knocks it out. John's working around here.
Going to free up.
Yeah, gonna free up, easy, right? And I will say, Jack can call this for Montez. He can call it for Chase. He can call it for John. He can call it for Payne.
Yeah.
I will also say this. Montez is really, really good at these.
Very good at these.
He's physical, he's fast, he understands how to fit here. This is a 3-man stunt here, so they're gonna pick, and then he's gonna loop. Great stunt here, really nice way to get a pressure. And watch how fast Montez hits this, right? And it's working with your guys, understanding the best way to get this done. Absolutely. Working around.
See how fast that first step is unbelievable.
Unbelievable, and we're getting pressure. So yeah, he could use that with Chase. He used that with Chase in 2020 when he was healthy. But I also say Montez is excellent. Watch him absolutely murder this guard.
Yeah.
And this is someone who's got long arms. Watch this guard. Bye. Later, I'm having fun. That's a sack. That's him and Deron working together, right?
Yeah.
So there's a skill set to it also. And watch our guy again, man. He's just there. And so in addition to the skill, in addition to the call, it's also these two guys knowing each other.
Yes.
Knowing each other really well. So on this rush, John gets a little bit high in the pocket. And Montez gets chipped here. Where's my chip button?
Yep.
Chip, right there. Chip on the edge.
Yep.
Watch how he adjusts to John's rush angle. This is not a called stunt. This is just playing football. I'm going to play inside to make sure that the quarterback
can't get up.
Yes. We've exchanged responsibilities.
Yes.
So that just comes with time.
Yeah.
So there's the call, which
Yep.
Jack can do that, but this is me knowing my teammate.
Being familiar,
This is me knowing that I can supplement and play off my guy and knowing how he rushes, right? So let's take another look. Here's a play action pass. They got a shade here to the front side, up, right? John gets a little bit high, or Montez penetrates inside off of a chip. Check him out here. And then John plays off and is the contained player. So inside gap, John sees it, plays around, and that's just two dudes hanging out, playing a lot of ball together. So I think the calls will be fine for Chase.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be as good as Montez because I think Montez is elite at that.
Yeah.
And I think it'll take some time for him to develop that kind of relationship on the rush, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Most definitely. Because they got to play off each other. Somebody has to sacrifice for the other person
and
to
as
go
you
make
know,
the
playing
play.
in the secondary or playing with a quarterback, Tanner, that familiarity takes time, right?
Yeah,
So
most definitely.
Not a rip.
All right. Logan, how will the demise of the RPO play affect teams? And how can we stop the no forward handoff in the counter scheme?
So this is a really interesting question, and I think it's a little bit of a misunderstanding of the rule. Tanner, we talked about this,
I mean,
right?
I was kind of thrown when I saw it, and I came to you, and you kind of corrected everything.
Yeah,
and
so
gave me
the way the
picture.
rule is actually written is that it's the penalty for an illegal forward handoff is now going to be bigger than it was before. So an illegal forward handoff is when I complete the ball to a receiver, like and I'm downfield, and then I hand it to you going forward. That is now, that's a penalty that's always been a penalty.
Gotcha.
But it's just now magnified by in terms of punishment.
All right.
So I don't think anything really changes. Like the RPO doesn't change because I can still hand the ball to an eligible receiver behind the line of scrimmage. So running plays, RPOs, all that's
still the same.
All that's still there. It's just when I do the illegal act, that's when the penalty becomes. So I don't think the RPO thing is going to be affected at all.
Yeah.
I think it would be bigger news if it was. So yeah, just think, if it's an illegal forward handoff, that is the actual penalty.
I also think it'd be something later on in the season when we actually see a penalty called or not, we'll be able to speak on it a little more.
Yeah, a little bit more. But as of right now, that's my understanding of it. It's like it's just kind of reinforcing an old rule.
And I never thought anything was wrong with the RPO and how they run it. I thought more was about the quarterback push play. I thought that was the play that would be scrutinized over this offseason.
So I don't think, long story short, we'll see, Tana. I think to your point, we'll see. But I don't think it's going to impact it dramatically right now. So I think now we're in the bonus round, right?
Yeah, we are.
We're in the bonus round. Okay, so let's start with what's the first one? I think it's this one. All right, I'm excited for this one. Would Santana Moss, a.k.a. the Cowboy Killer, considering being a wide receiver coach someday in the future? And you've dabbled in this, right?
Yeah. Well, I do. I still have those dreams, and I think one day I will tap into it. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to just as early as 2020.
Because you were down in Miami, right?
I said the pandemic kind of stopped that. I went and did an internship at FIU, and the pandemic, kind of shut us down. And I was like, okay, I like this time again. I'm kind of comfortable now in my space with just how much time I have to myself and being able to move, go back and forth and see the kids and see the family.
Yeah.
I know it takes a lot of time
to do that. That's the thing,
I played 14 years pro. I played 4 years college and another umpteen years in high school and little league. That's a lot of football. I'm finally getting a chance to live a little bit. So can I live? But I will say this.
One day
I will want. It don't matter what level either. When I do, say
I get back into it.
I just want to do it. You know what I mean? Just say I did it. It don't matter if it's
high school.
It don't matter. It don't matter. I think by the time I do it, at that point, it won't matter. But right now, I just want to live.
Okay, dude, I respect that because I kind of feel the same way. And I was never going to get into coaching, and now I'm coaching high school football, and it's a lot of time too. But anyway, it's a ton of fun. Okay, let's check it out. Okay, this is the question I think is interesting. How does practice with a playoff team differ from non-playoff teams? That is, I think, a really good question. Do our players have playoff potential? So to me, I kind of took this as saying...
this question saying practice against our own guys or practice against other teams?
That's what I thought when I first read it, but I guess it can be both. So, Fred, what do you think?
We had a playoff team here. The year we went to the playoff, played against Seattle. We was an emotional team. Very emotional, very high-strung. We fought a lot in practice. Yeah, we fought almost every day. Like, we were very passionate.
Were you fighting? Do you like fighting?
Oh, yeah. Whatever it takes, by any means necessary. So, I just think it's one of those things. But I did play on the Steve Spurrier team that we just wasn't tuned in. We wasn't there. We wasn't good. We wasn't a great team. And it is a big difference. It's about accountability. That's the main thing.
So when I was in New York, we went 3 of them 4 years I was there. We went to playoffs. And we went deep. Like we were deep to me in second round. We was always, stopped short in that round. And I can tell you, like the intensity of those practices, being a young guy, I was watching because half the time I wasn't starting. I didn't start until my 3rd season there. And I can just sit on the sideline at times or getting in when I got in. Trust me, you was getting yourself together. Come Sunday or whenever you played, you was ready because the guys you went up against, they was the caliber of talent you was going to see every Sunday. You know what I mean? Top tier talent, and it wasn't a surprise to me why we were special as a team. Because the guys were sharpening each other every day in practice.
I totally agree with that, and I think about back in 2012 the leadership and kind of the mentorship, and I look at this team here and how good the defense is going to be, and how that iron is going to sharpen the iron of the offense. So I definitely think this is a huge deal. I think it's an absolutely huge deal. Now, next question, bonus round, right? Tackling dummies. Fred, can you read this for me? I got to grab something real quick.
Why aren't they throwing arms on our tackling dummies? And who said that they would? And why don't we see our defensive line doing the same script sack technique that Kerrigan did? That's what they want to know.
So all I got to say is the first part here. We got Justin here, our special guest speaker today.
Come on in here, Justin.
Justin, what are these?
Yes, so we've got the arms here.
The arms. There's arms on these guys. There's an attachment here, right?
Happy to share. We have arms indeed.
And they clip on, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So all your blocking bags, right? And then you have this thing right here, right? Which is you use for kind of this kind of stuff, bang, finishing sacks. But you also have other stuff out on the field, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Everything has attachments that we can use. Really, we only use one quarterback pop-up for the most part for the D line, but on turnover circuit Thursdays, D-backs and linebackers will also get a shot
use
at
this, right?
too. Yeah.
And they got this nice Velcro in here. They stick the ball on there. Yeah. So it's something that we do practice. We do have the equipment, right, Justin? Yeah, sure and it is a skill set. Now, thank you, Justin. Really appreciate that.
Appreciate you, Justin.
The expert on arms. This is arms. These are arms, guys, on tackling dummies, okay? Now, why don't we see our D-line doing the same strip sacks that Ryan Kerrigan did? I would say Ryan Kerrigan is one of the best pass rushers in the history of the franchise. It's a very unique skill set.
That's safe to say.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And so it's not something that everybody can do all the time, but with arms on our practice dummies, we'll get there. Okay, last question. Here we go. I'll read this one. All right, so this one right here. All right, how did it feel making your first big play in the NFL? Now, this is a question I thought would be perfect for Tanis Takes. Yeah. And we answered that in Tanis Takes on Thursday. Yeah. So make sure you check out Tanis Takes on Thursday for Fred's answer, for Tana's answer, for my answer, which is not as cool as their answer, but that is a good spot for that. Gave a really good answer. Everyone was really excited about those answers. So let's make sure we check. Oh, you're gonna get this?
That's what I do. I thought somebody about to catch the ball. I was having a flashback. I didn't know what had happened. Hold on. I thought somebody, it just happens from time to time.
It didn't all fit up in there, right?
Yeah, it happened.
So I will say, guys, thank you so much for these questions. This is awesome content. Please continue to subscribe and subscribe to the rest of the content that we have on the YouTube page. Thank you so much.